Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode, dare I say a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? Short answer, no, we're not. Long answer, listen to the podcast. This is a podcast where we do many things. We hold many discussions, and you're joining us for this ride. If it's your first time here, gird your loins, buckle on up. You'll figure it out as we go along because we've got lots of different segments, and we intro them before each respective segment, so you don't have to remember like everything, unless you're not new here and you're like, I know this shit like the back of my hand, in which then I don't need to remind you to vote for who you think is wrong in each of our segments that we talk about on today's episode. That'll be over on our Instagram stories. I know we've all gotten used to me doing it incredibly late. I did it really early last week, and that threw some of you off, so I'll try and find a happy medium.
I just remembered that what I picked for everything this week, and it made me a little giddy.
Ooh, I can so excited. You participate by heading over to our Instagram stories and voting on who you think is wrong in each segment. And then we read the results on our Friday episode, which is called Fisting Friday. And it also involves you giving your thoughts and feelings. So it's not just the votes. It's also like, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about this? We read those. And then we also sometimes have the original people who wrote in will like offer some more insight, or we'll have a discussion, and then we get to read that too. So it's like a melting pot. Did you have a melting pot growing up in any of those places?
If we had them,
You didn't go.
I didn't go because germs.
I know, but if you take that out, I love the idea of a fondue restaurant. I've already been over this, I think.
Was it with like, because I've gone to a fondue restaurant in my youth. No, actually it was a Brazilian.
I was going to say it's not Brazilian.
It was a Brazilian meat place that also had fondue.
Yeah. Not
and
the same.
you would walk, like it was like a buffet.
Yep. You can either do Brazilian barbecue or Argentinian barbecue like that. Ooh, it's not that.
Okay. So at the melting pot, was it just at your table? Okay. Then I can get down with that.
Yeah,
if I
and
have control over it, then I'm fine.
And it was so expensive. And I would go for like friends' birthdays. God, I love it. I think I literally did a hot take. Like one of our early episodes was like bring back fondue.
You did.
And you know what I have to say? Unfortunately, I've not followed through on that. And like, I need to add on my to-do list. Meghan, do your part in bringing back fucking fondue.
When I first moved here, there was a restaurant that I frequented a lot called Shabu Shabu.
Yeah.
But not like the restaurant itself was called Shabu Shabu. It wasn't like, a lot of times it'll be like the name of the restaurant and we do Shabu Shabu. The restaurant was actually called. I love that place so much. Like I went for so many birthdays.
It's good.
I did a job that I had downtown, and I would drag people that like worked with me because I knew they were paying for it. So I had them, and then it became in our regular rotation for when we were going to eat. But I love that place so much. The meats were good, but my favorite part was when we got to the dessert part because they had the chocolates, and then you'd put like a Rice Krispie treat in there.
I just love when they give us our own agency to go, what do you want to do, you little freak? And you're like, okay, I'm going to get crazy.
And then they built that area up downtown and took away the parking, and then the restaurant went away.
Still, it's an Olympic.
But it's not the same one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought there were 2 locations. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, this is me learning that it's not just the restaurant name. That's an entire method of cooking.
Mm-hmm.
That is
it
very
means
confusing.
swish.
Yeah. No, that's totally very confusing when you Google it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how we got here.
Doesn't matter. We're a podcast. You're supposed to talk.
And that's what my skill set is in.
Speaking of food, this weekend.
This past weekend that already happened?
Yes.
Okay.
While I was enjoying Cowboy Carter, I was like, I want some barbecue.
Oh, God. What happened?
And, I wanted to use our regular place. But on the weekends, the menu, they hike up the prices so much.
Yeah.
For what reason?
The reason is because they're so busy. They said, we don't want to serve you. If we're going to serve you, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
So I took a chance on a restaurant, and I ordered the food, and I got some ribs and some brisket. They clearly put it on the grill for like 5 minutes and then finished it in the oven.
I'm sorry, for barbecue, that's actually criminal.
And then just smothered it in a whole bunch of sauce, but like only on the top. They didn't like try to work it in or anything. And it was like thick. And I also got coleslaw.
Oh, God.
Why would I open the coleslaw?
No.
There were raisins in it.
The way I just said, if this bitch says raisins?
Raisins in coleslaw. And then I was like, I can pick the raisins out. There was no flavor to this coleslaw at all. It was just like a little wet, like where you thought it should be like vinegar or like cream, whatever. There's no seasoning at all. It's just crispy and nasty. It was
what color
awful.
Raisins?
Brown raisins.
At least they gave you something to pick out.
I was going to send you a photo, but I was like,
don't do that to me.
No, I wanted to see your actual reaction when we talked about it.
In Los Angeles, of all places.
Like, look at that. This is awful.
That's school lunch.
This is disgusting.
Melissa, that is school lunch. Wow, I'm like so sorry for you. That's horrible.
It was awful.
It's crazy to me that I'm like, barbecue has a meaning. It's about the method of cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sauce.
Like, I'm still mad thinking about it. Anyway.
Well, welcome to this podcast. Shall we take a break, or should we get into our first segment?
Let's get into our first segment.
Okay, so our first segment is But Am I Wrong?, where we each propose something to the other and to the audience that could either be something personal that we've gone through, a circumstance, situation, or a hot take, a rant that we have to get off our chest. And we want to know, are we wrong? Am I first this time?
You were first.
Okay.
Look at you knowing.
Look at me knowing. Don't get used to it. I am not comfortable knowing. So, oh my God. This one is like, I feel like this is such a fucking hot take. And then I have one that's like not as much of a hot take, but I'm going to do my one that's really hot take because I'm feeling feisty.
Let's go, baby.
Liking animals more than you like humans is a red flag.
I've said this before.
We've talked about this off mic because, PETA scares me. And this isn't even about PETA, but PETA always gets involved anytime there's animals. So I think it's totally fine if there are some animals that you like more than some humans.
Like your animal.
Or like, I like any horse, and I'm not a horse fan, more than I like Mitch McConnell.
Okay.
Like, that's fair. I don't love, things that fly usually, like butterfly. I mean, actually, those are more bugs. Like, I don't like flying bugs or things that move very fast. So let's say like a beetle. I don't love beetles, but I like them more than I like Andrew Tate. Like, there's those ones.
There's levels to it.
Without a doubt, there's levels to it. And it can be even personal people in your life. Like, I like my dog more than I like, my uncle or something or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Also fine. But this like blanket statement of like, humans suck. I just love animals. That's the only way. Have we ever thought to maybe unpack that the reason that is because not that they're the most ultimate innocent creature ever, but because they're not complicated. They don't have to have a conversation, to have differing opinions, to like change your worldview. Animals just give you endless unconditional love. And that's what you like. We prefer that over the humans.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I recently saw someone, well, I don't know if you saw, but someone brought a dog into Trader Joe's and it peed.
Yep.
And finally I found my people in that comment section.
Yep.
It was like, leave your goddamn fucking dog at home. Like, stop. This is not a time or a place for this. And like someone I saw in like a comment section of someone else discussing this, they were being like, anytime I see like videos of people talking about like, you know, they lost their home in a fire and the top comment is like, oh my God, like, but where's the dog? Like, what you didn't like, where's the ant? And it's like, but I had to go in and save my mom. And it's like, you're a horrible person. You didn't save your animal. And it's like, you wanted this person to let their mother burn in this building over the, and that's like, when are we ever faced with that choice? Rarely ever.
Right.
Rarely fucking ever. But the people who are like, no. Animals over humans all day, every day. First of all, now I'm so trepidatious of you. Like, I'm like, what do you, I'm not supposed to be able to count on you if something is a collective and a community as a whole. And I just find it like, I find it a massive, huge red flag. So that's all I have to say. And have I been probably guilty of saying it? Cause like, that was like such a thing on like Twitter in like 2000, like 10.
Somebody's
like,
going to pull up your tweets.
No,
and be
I'm
like,
sure I could find one of my own. I'll find one. Like, I'm sure there's something that's like, I just like, find me at the party sitting in a corner with the dog, which usually if there's like an old person at a party, like someone brought their parents, I'll hang out with them. If there's a kid, someone's like, this kid is annoying. I'm like, I'll watch your kid. Like, I'll do that kind of socializing. But like, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. And I stand by it, no matter how hot that take is.
I don't think it's hot at all. You've never heard me say animals over people in any way.
Well, if I said it, I was lying. I was just trying to be cool.
I know that.
Yeah.
But like the way that some people care more about any animal than like a human life is disgusting to me.
It's so fucking crazy to me. Like, I'm just like, I actually cannot wrap my head around it because I so cannot relate whatsoever that like, that's like the biggest cause, that is the most important thing. And it's like, oh, you know, kids could be abused and starving and all of that kind of stuff. But as long as the animals are good, me and my pets, me and my fur babies, you can't tell me shit. I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
Whoa. Freaks me out. Because like, if you can't love things that are complicated, I don't think that's really love, you know? I think it's like you like being adored.
Yep. Okay.
So come at me. Sorry.
Mine will not be controversial for our audience, but
okay. Do you think the horse girls are going to be so mad at me?
No, because like the horse girl that we know for certain that listens to this podcast, she does not want to be included.
Yeah, she said, don't lump me in with those fuckers. It's like me every 6 months when Swifties go through their course of timeline. I go, not at this point.
All right, here's my rant, or it's not a hot take, so I'm just going to call it a rant.
Okay.
Going to an alpha male boot camp is the most beta male thing you can do next to running an alpha male boot camp.
Yeah.
So there's a boot camp. I'm not going to name it because no, I'm not giving them anything. But on their Instagram page, it says a 75-hour crucible and 12-month mentorship for men who want to get unstuck, create financial freedom, fix your relationship, and ignite your purpose. And it's in Chino Hills, California.
Chino Hills?
I know.
Whoa. That changes where in Chino Hills?
They're on the beach sometimes.
No,
so
I know, but where? I'm shocked.
On the website, it says it's a project for entrepreneurs and executive leaders only. And then in big letters, it says your family deserves the best version of you as a leader, husband, and father. Among many of the instructors, a lot of them are former Marines, Navy SEALs, and Air Force members. And I went to the frequently asked question page and it said, what can I expect during the 75-hour experience? And it says, expect to be physically challenged, expect to be mentally exhausted, expect to be emotionally tested, expect to grow in all areas. And so that really didn't tell me anything. So I started watching a few of their videos that they have posted. And in these videos, you can see people being yelled at. By people, I mean men, because it's only for men. Men being yelled at, threatened to get their ass kicked. They crawl through sand, mud pits, crawl up a rope. In one of the videos, somebody fell from a rope right on their back. They get dragged across and downhill on their feet, like as someone berates them, get used as a human wheelbarrow, get sprayed by a high power pressure hose while there's like, what's the thing? Like a pick?
Mm-hmm.
That you're on it right now. That's what they're doing.
That's a sledgehammer.
Yes. So they have
I'm familiar. We just rented one.
They lie on the beach with a sledgehammer on their chest and do little flutter kicks while they're like being sprayed with water, or they're crawling in the ocean water as they do it. There's several things that they're doing with these sledgehammers, and then like squirm around in the sand with their fellow man. One of the instructors / co-founders said, "Men have lost their fucking way. They act like little boys," and then in parentheses, "or girls stuck in a grown man's body. They bitch and moan and gossip and complain. They are filled with anger, resentment, and jealousy. Just take a look at the comment section on the internet. They wear masks, get vaxxed and jabs," but he censored vaxxed as if it was a bad word. They put a little @ sign for A. They don't know what bathroom to use anymore. Does this sound like someone you want to work with? And so if you would like to get all these things, get all this enlightenment in 3 days, you can get it for the low price of $18,000 for 3 days. But why not? There's something that you can do for free that's the same type of thing, and that's go to war. Just start sending men to war again.
They don't even have to be real wars.
No, they can be war amongst the men.
Apple has war Ken against Ken.
Yes.
They've got those new VR headsets. No one's buying them. Put them to good use.
Mm-hmm.
Put the men in a room with those little headsets on and let them fight their wars.
God, I literally thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke. And then the more I looked at it, Fox News did a whole segment on them. And the intro for that segment, the little puny man that was talking about it.
These are so petite.
He was like the Fox News anchor was like, went on this whole rant. I was going to write it down, but then I was like, I do not want this even like in my Google Docs for someone to think that I wrote this. Yeah. And so I didn't write it down, but I can link it if you want to see it. Just ask me for it. I'm not going to actually link it. Just ask me for it.
If you insist, she'll give it to you.
Yes, because it was the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. And I was like, there's no way you little puny man would even go participate at this thing.
Yeah. I have so many questions about these men because I'm seeing a lot of like really thick necks.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of Marine people.
But I'm not seeing any mobility, agility, or strength. No. Like rolling up to any Equinox 24-hour location, a fitness class taught by a woman, and you see the women there, not even CrossFit girlies. They could smash their fucking heads.
Bitch press these people.
So they're not even, it's not even impressive.
On the website, they also have like partners of these men giving their own testimonials of, when my man came back, things were different. He really needed this. Like video testimonies.
Well, I hope those girlies had a good time when they were gone.
I hope that they got paid, because I don't think that they're actually any partners of these actual men.
No.
I think they were actors.
Yeah. AI, artificial intelligence. My favorite thing I ever saw about this was someone quote tweeted it. So it's these clowns spent $18,000 to take part in this alpha male boot camp. And someone quote tweeted from the great username, Ink Masturbator. Brandy Bryant. $18K for gender affirming care? Yeah, that's about what my guy quoted me to. So good. So good. Like, that's gender affirming care.
Yes, it is true.
I love that.
All right. Well,
thank you for sharing. I'm obsessed with hating these petite men.
We're back to our man hating ways.
Yeah. God, embarrassing last week. So sorry, everybody. We hate to do it. And like when you guys make us defend a man, I don't know how I'm going to forgive you.
All right. On that note, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors, including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. It's time for our next segment, But Are You Wrong?, where we read your submissions that you send over to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep them under 300 words. Tell us the circumstance or situation that you have found yourself in that you're like, am I wrong? Was I wrong for doing this thing? Would I be wrong if I did this? Some have said that Don't Blame Me, our Monday podcast, is getting our advice. And then this podcast is for when you didn't take our advice and dealing with the aftermath of it. So we rule with an iron gavel, but also we're honest, we're realistic, and sometimes we're toxic. So don't think it's always have to be like, we're going to agree and you're right if it's like virtuous. Sometimes being petty can be the right answer.
Sometimes I just want to hear about the story. Like sometimes I just want you to do things for the story.
And that's why we have this podcast, is to hear other people's, like, what you're doing with your lives. And then we can comment on it. So include your ages, include all relevant information, and it is all anonymous. So don't include your name. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I've been watching YouTube since 2010 and have seen how influencers disclose ads changed over the years. Over the past year, I've seen YouTubers not disclose ads according to the FTC guidelines. It's really starting to piss me off. If I were to commit illegal acts at my job, I would be fired. Yet these people are able to go against FTC guidelines and make millions a year. Would I be wrong if I started reporting these influencers to the company sponsoring them to the FTC? I've recently started commenting on videos calling them out for not disclosing. One influencer actually commented back saying, yeah, I didn't explicitly say it was that. Oh my God. But I thought it was obvious. So I replied with the FTC guidelines copied from their website. She didn't respond back and has continued to not disclose ads properly. Because I love talking shit, I'll list the influencers' names. I'm talking about both so you both know. But you don't have to share on the podcast if you don't want to. That did not get copied and pasted over the Google Doc.
One of them is somebody that continuously gets talked about in this podcast, and I don't
Danielle
understand.
Bernstein?
No.
So, okay.
I want to know which one of the people that you shared with us, who did you comment on? And then they said it's obvious. And then they continued to do it after that. Like, who was that? Can you write back and let us know? And then I can give you an answer on who to report.
Here's the thing. Of the names you listed, I only want you to report one of them. I don't know that you'd be able to figure out who that is. I want it to be abundantly clear. There's specifically one person I don't want you to do that for.
Mm-hmm.
And that person I love, and I've talked about how much I love them for so long. And so there's a difference because of the people you included, some people...
And to add on to sometimes we're toxic, sometimes
we hold different
we
standards.
just have different standards for different people.
Yeah. And I want you to think about what's the life circumstance of the people that you've... Because these people all lead very different lives. I don't want them to be able to literally see who I'm looking up. They can't.
And if they can, we'll just put up a block. But they can't.
Because depending on how long someone's been doing it, there is like people who know that they're skirting it and people who don't know that they're skirting it. And I will say, as much as I agree with you that I fucking hate when people do this, because I always properly disclose. Always. Even to the point where like I've had brands where like, can you have like a thing at the beginning of the video that says this is sponsored by this? And I'm like, you're literally have a 45-second ad placement halfway through this 25-minute video. And you want me to start the video basically implying it's a commercial. People aren't going to keep watching through. Like, I understand your frustration. The issue is it's actually not the influencers. It's the brands. The brands are the ones doing this because if I ever did not properly disclose, the brand would be on my shit and the brand wouldn't pay me. Like, they would not do that. So people are doing what the brand is asking from them. Unless it's like a one-off and then they don't do it, then they have to do like a make good and they make up for it and all of that stuff. But like these people aren't really deceiving the brands. And if they are, again, it's a one-time thing. Some brands, depending on how new the brand is, they're like, oh, it'll decrease engagement or whatever it is. And unfortunately, the FTC doesn't really care.
They do care. Somebody reported Cardi B and she went to court over this and had to pay. This is how they get money. I, for one, believe that if this is something, if it was like a one-time thing, no. But if they're continuously doing this, like they're breaking the law. What you said was like, if I broke the law at work, I would get fired. Some jobs, like stockbrokers, they're continuously breaking laws all the time.
White collar crime, not even a crime.
Yes, there's a lot of white collar crime that goes on that like people don't get fired for it. But I do believe for shits and giggles that you should be reporting these people. Like,
but not all of them.
But not all of them. But like report one now and then, see what happens, and people will learn their lesson because it's deceiving people. It's deceiving the customers, and that's the problem. Is that people don't know that they're being fed an ad, and that is a problem.
It depends on the technicality of it. So, like, I'm wholeheartedly, regardless of anyone's background, regardless of how much they're making, I think if you are deceiving people intentionally, without a doubt, you should report them. The disclosures, I don't know how nitpicky you're being with disclosures because the FTC's guidelines are super, super clear. But brands, sometimes they'll be like, oh, include the paid promotion thing. And then that covers everything. You don't have to write down that it's been paid at the bottom or whatever. You can just include your link.
Just say it in some way.
Or when you do it, talk in the video of saying that. But the whole thing is basically the FTC is they want it to be like, if the video is on mute or if someone is only listening to the video, we need to be able to hear all the disclosures or hear and see all of the disclosures. Like, so they want you to cover literally every single one of your bases. And then brands kind of pick and choose that at discretion. So I would look and see, like, are they doing the same thing or is it changing based on the brand? Like, so like, are they doing this disclosure when it's this brand or doing this disclosure when it's this brand? Because that's not usually the influencer misleading. That's like what the brand has asked them to do.
But if they're doing the whole thing, you know that's an ad and they haven't said it or put it anywhere.
Big issue.
Report them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Not all of these people are making millions of dollars, I will say. And I want to say this with so much love. Mott's is like, I need you to fucking stop saying that because it never feels like with love. All of the people you mentioned are women, and men are doing far more undisclosed sponsorships and making a hell of a lot more money. So I think if you're going to report them, make sure to report a couple men who are doing this too.
I'll tell you who to report. That man that walks around grocery stores barefoot.
Oh, yeah.
Reading labels talking about this is shit. But then like gets sponsored by like an alcohol company. And he's like, this is good. That man, report him. The one that says he doesn't wear deodorant. But then another video that was clearly sponsored, he's talking about deodorant. That man, report him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like if someone's intentionally misleading, but if they're not adhering to the FTC guidelines perfectly, I think that if it's clear that it's an ad and this person's not doing any harm, they might not know better. They might truthfully, when you do every single disclosure that you're legally required to do, it does affect the engagement of the video. And then also the issue is the brand wants you to reach a certain threshold of that. So some brands will like want you to not do X, Y, and Z to meet, whatever that is. And as like frustrating and as annoying as it is, if you believe that these people are like trustworthy, like genuine people, and they're not like, if someone's fucking promoting that goddamn fucking Kenzie IPL laser thing, where like they've literally asked me so many times to do it, and every time I'm like, okay, so you say it takes 6 months to do it. Well, I have 6 months to try it. They go, no. And I go, so you want me to lie? So no. Like if people are doing things that are like inherently distrustful or, snake oil kinds of things, totally. But I do think that nitpicking the FTC, I would reserve for people who, are doing this with malintent and are misleading. If it's like misleading a younger audience, like whatever it is, like go for those. That's why Kim Kardashian's gotten like caught by the FTC for a couple of times. So I would say just like from the people that you've mentioned, I have a very clear bias for some, and yeah. People aren't always as loaded as you think they are too. And that's something that like is important to recognize and note, that you might feel like you're getting scammed by them. And that might just be a time to like, I'm just going to pause and like, they're not actually misleading you. They're not checking all of the boxes that they're supposed to check. And like FTC guidelines change a lot of the time too. Like different contracts require different things. And I do think that response was kind of like, I could take that as salty. I could also think that maybe they thought it was fine. But it depends on the size of the creator. Like once you reach a certain size, the brands that you're working with, like there's no corners cut. So I do think there's a different expectation and standard of like what they know. And yeah, from the person I specifically looked up, it's changing based on who the sponsor is. So
if they're not doing anything wrong, the FTC won't do anything. So
yeah. But I would really encourage to look at the men too. Specifically men who are in a squad of bloggers. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
All right. Next one. Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I'm 24. My sister Liz, 32. Both she, her. My dad's 62. He, him. Our dad took off with his student when I was 16. Liz's classmate, I might add. So how much older is Liz than you? Okay. So that means that if it was...
You're the age.
Huh?
She's the age that the girl was when, ew.
Yeah. After crunching the numbers, we have calculated that...
Melissa calculated. I won't take any credit. I would have done it all wrong.
That your new stepmother was 24 when she hooked up with your dad. So the age that you are now, gross. As you said, might I add, I know you. I only started talking to him a year ago, and I met his new family since. There's a whole family. Oh my gosh. Liz always kept in touch, but never met our brother. Dad asked us via text message to renounce inheriting his new apartment. The law here is that all inheritance has to be equally divided between offspring, meaning we'd get a third. I agreed to sign.
Bitch, why?
Let's finish reading.
Sorry.
I agreed to sign. Liz says she's open to discussion, but needs more information. Like, would we be fully out of the will? Are we inheriting his debt, etc.? She wants to find a solution, but giving up all inheritance for the sake of his new kid is not something she's okay with. Dad called her greedy and told her how disappointed he was because he gave up on his flat for our sake. What? Said flat was shared property. Now it's my mom's. He couldn't have sold his share even if he wanted to because I was a minor. He's also bending the truth about our other financial stuff, making himself out to be this hero and just being very manipulative. Liz asked him multiple times to talk in person, which he ignored. I'm a commie slut who doesn't believe in inheritance, but I get Liz's point. I don't think she's wrong, but I'd love to hear your takes. Our relationship isn't great, but I learned to let it go. However, seeing how he gets with her when things don't go his way makes me mad. The conversations were separate, but I don't think it's a secret that I know. Would I be wrong to confront him?
I'm a Liz. I'm Liz
with
fucking
Liz
through and
too.
through. I stand with Liz.
Yeah, like, why should you give up your part for your brother that you don't even know? Like, how does that make sense?
This man should be paying you a weekly allowance for the trauma he put you through.
Also, was he still like providing for you when he left to start this new family when you were 16? Because
financially,
you were
not emotionally.
Yes, like you were still a child. You already agreed to give up your part. What would you be confronting him about? Like, this is your shit. Like, you should keep your shit.
Yeah, you said you agreed to sign. Don't revoke that. You don't sign. Don't sign. Don't sign.
Unless there is debt attached to this, in which I'd say, how much debt?
But at the same time, if debt's attached to it, are you attached to his other debt and you would need this to sell off to then cover that debt, whatever. Right. Don't agree to this whatsoever. This man fucking, I know he's your dad, I'm so sorry, but like, I am sorry that he's your father. He fucking sucks. Like, I don't believe in prison, but I do believe that people should financially pay for their crimes. Mm-hmm. And this was a crime against you, Liz, and good God, the woman who is still goddamn fucking married to him and that kid. Like,
right.
Ugh, no, he's he's shown his true colors. And despite the fact that you're like, I've like learned to like move on or whatever, you are doing that. You're doing 300% of it. Like, he's not doing anything of this. And like, you bend to this. What do you bend to next time? And what do you bend to the time after that?
And I also think it's interesting that you completely cut him off and then don't want to have any of the property. Like, I get that. Like, you are so done with this man. Liz maintained a relationship with him.
Oh, yeah.
She was still like talking to him, and now he wants...
Wait, did she fully let it go? I only started talking to him a year ago. Okay.
Yeah, like she completely stopped. Liz was still in communication with him. And so like, I would be even more pissed if I was Liz, because like, I'm still being in communication with you and you want me to give my share to my brother? What?
My question is, I'm wondering if the brother is 1 year old. And that's why you started communication to rekindle this, because there's like an innocent kid involved.
I'm mad for Liz. Like, more than anything, Liz, I'm mad for Liz, because she has been maintaining a relationship with him.
And that's her fucking classmate.
Yeah. Or were they friends?
Radical forgiveness, I think in general, is usually super like abuser enabling. Like, I think a lot of the time, because our society and our justice system doesn't practice justice, we have to do this like radical forgiveness, which is like accepting people for where they're at, which is usually just enduring more shit that they've done. And I think that's anyone's choice, their own prerogative. But right now, you're not the only one affected by this. So is Liz. And so like, I think that like this hands-off approach, or being like, well, I'm going to sign it, like whatever, it's on Liz, or like, you are a fucking unit. You need to stand by together with her. Like, what do you want to do? What are we going to do? Because clearly, like, for you, you're kind of like, you're more resigned from this, but your alliance still needs to be with her. You can be resigned from this and then being like, okay, you count me as your other vote. Count me as whatever you want to do. That's where I'm going. I'm not going abstaining, or I'm not going like saying that you'll sign it is not the neutral decision. The neutral decision is like, who is the wronged party here? You and your sister. If you are over it, that's totally fine. Your sister is still the other wronged party. So then it's like, okay, we're a unit, whatever you want to do. And so confronting him with like how he's speaking to her, without a doubt, like, go for it if that's what she wants you to do. But also, like, I don't think we can act shocked that he's talking to her this way, or you're not liking what he's doing, thinking that like the solution to fix the relationship is this. Like, I just think that like people who do shit like this and then have bad, like, piss poor fucking attitudes about being a dick, I'm like, you're gonna just do this again. Like, if I give you your way, this isn't like being this isn't like a giving yourself up to the situation so you can move on past it. It's gonna happen again.
Yep.
Like, it's a pattern of behavior. So I think the biggest thing for you to do is to tell Liz, like, whatever you want, I'm here on your side, and consult a lawyer. Mm-hmm. But do not sign it over. And I say this,
I mean, even if you do, then like Liz is getting 50%. Like, when you want to just write it out, and then if you don't want anything to do with it, then split it up after he's gone.
So this is what I was gonna say. So as somebody who has a half brother from a different, marriage. No, not a marriage.
A different relationship.
There's a huge, huge age difference between the two of us. And I'm sure he probably would have felt or could feel some type of way if he was younger and like whatever. But like, if someone passes and assets, if there's any, are divided or whatever, there is a fully grown adult and then there's a kid there. But right now, no offense, even though you're 1 years older than me, you're still kids. So I think you need to make a decision as we're kids. And if we later down the road, we want to give all the money to our little brother, you fucking can. But you don't have the option to backtrack out of that if you don't sign it. So like, I just think that there's a responsibility you have as a quote unquote, older sibling. I don't think that's a blood responsibility. I think that is you've spent time with someone, you feel like someone owes someone something, but then also only if you're in a position where you don't need it and you can give it up. And even then, some people wouldn't give it up. And like, I could bitch or complain or whatever that is. And you could think it's not fair, but it is still technically fair. I think like preemptively giving up your stake in this, it's so like future you will want to slap you across the face. You can always do it the other way, but you can't fix it after.
Right. Well, a little riled up with that one.
Little riled up. And I'm not mad at you. I just want to like state that. Like, I think that like you've needed to, I'm sure you were really, really, really angry and you had to make peace with it. So like, I don't blame you at all. And I think that's like, it's so great. I think that like at that point, I go with like, who's fired up about this? I'm going to be on your side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to use my vote for what you want. Cause now this is what we want. Cause like we're a collective unit. God, your dad fucking sucks though. What's that age difference? That's 30 years.
I mean, he's clearly old enough to be this girl's father because it's a classmate.
Well, yeah, because so it's Liz. Liz is 32. The dad is 62.
Yeah.
Which means
30 years. All right.
Wow.
We're going to take another break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to see you next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
We're the Ghost Story Guys.
And every 2 weeks, we explore first-person stories of encounters with the paranormal from all around the world.
Then we have some fun reacting to those stories. We like to say our goal is to scare the hell out of you, then make you laugh.
Belief in the paranormal is not required. All you need is a love of great storytelling and curiosity about the world around you.
Come find the Ghost Story Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else fine podcasts live, or at ghoststoryguys.com.
And we're back. It's time for But Are They Wrong, where we nominate a person, place, or thing, someone in current events, zeitgeist, what's going on currently that we believe needs some, maybe not like fame and attention, but like tomato, 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 boo, let's collectively bitch about this entity, this thing. So we know as a society that we can't make that mistake again. I would like to nominate Sam Doll and what Sam Doll represents.
DOLL.
D0?
D0.
Isn't it 0?
Yeah.
But I think that's the alt account. So I don't know if the regular one might just be an O. And you might have seen, if you have the algorithm like me, not her original video, but all of the stitches of this white woman who hops on screen and says, can I just say something? And if you're from the Beehive, scroll on past, which I already take issue with when someone says, hey, I want to talk shit about, that's like me saying, hey, I want to talk shit about people who are under 5'5". So if you're a shorty, get out of this room. Don't be offended. And it's like, bitch, you just told me you directed who you're about to talk shit about and then said, you can't be here to defend yourself or be present for this. Like, let me talk about you in peace. Here's what I've always said, and I stand by this. We all need to bring back talking about people behind their backs like a normal person. When you're on TikTok, regardless of the fucking little tunnel vision, the little echo chamber your algorithm puts you in, that is not talking behind somebody's back. That is talking on a public forum. And she goes off about Beyonce's new album, about how she didn't like it. And I disagree with the fact that some people are calling it microaggressions. I found them macroaggressions. The lies, the untruths, and the audacity in this girl to get up on here and say, this album was lazy. This part actually killed me. I respect the ambition is the cuntiest in like, actually no, because cunty's good, is the cruelest, most like nasty thing I've ever heard someone about Beyonce. You respect the ambition. TikToker with a TikTok. Beyonce had 24 song out. What? Horrible. Goes on about how Blackbird was lazy, how it was sleepy. Where's the Beyonce and the Beyonce? But then also didn't like how she changed the lyrics in Jolene. It was just like, just so nasty. And then she gets in the comments, is doubling down when people are like, she's mutuals with these creators being like, oh my gosh, Sam, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I love you. Like, this take is so not it. Like, this is like, people are giving her the benefit of the doubt, being like, I don't think you know what you're doing. Like, this is like, please take this down. This is like, you know, you can have these opinions. That's totally fine. But like the way that you did this is like, just like racist. And this is just so fucking bad. Like, there's no need to do this here. She's doubling down. She's tripling down. She makes a quote unquote apology video where she doubles down again. In her comments, the defense she's giving is, what? I can't just like an album. People are like, well, the history and the context and everything. And then she goes on to basically say, why should I need to know the context about a song to enjoy it if I don't like the sound? But then she also replies to other people being like, even knowing the context, I don't like it. And then someone else. So I'm supposed to look up the context. And it's like, keep your story goddamn fucking straight. And then, because I, of course, do some digging. This girl self-identifies as like a Beatle fan. And the song Blackbird is by the Beatles. So you would think someone knows so much about the Beatles would know about the origin of the story of the Beatles. Not a Beatles fan. Am I a Beatles fan? And I didn't know the origin story because I don't claim to be a fucking Beatles fan. And I'm reading it before because everyone's talking about how when the track list gets released. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so beautiful. I had no idea. This girl's a Beatles fan. And then she has a video which went semi-viral. This is her second account. This is her music account, by the way, because she's restarting her music career. What a way to do it. Though I do think she's appealing to her audience because I would say that her audience is like Machine Gun Kelly style fans.
Okay.
So, okay, for sure. She has an entire video up about how she was talking to her husband about how they enjoy music and how she plays him a song in the car. And he's like, wow, I really like this song. This is really good. And she's like, I know. And then the story behind it is this, and this. And he's like, oh, like, I don't know. And she was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I don't really care. Like, if it sounds good, I like it. And she's like, oh my gosh, like I could never do that. For me, like I have to know the context. I have to know the meaning behind a song. That's what to me, like, yes, like I love the sound and things like that. But like once you know the meaning, that's how you know when you love and understand a song. I can't imagine not listening to a song, needing to listen to the lyrics and the whole story. That's what makes me love a song.
Liar.
Girl, what? And that's like 5 videos down. Like, it's like, you didn't even create enough of a fucking space here. Like, what the hell? I then went on my, I didn't even go on my burner because I was like, I don't care if this, well, she might be familiar with my name. I don't think she is, but I'm just saying, it could be. I go on her live and she's just doing a live, walking down the street, just reading people's comments, being like, people's like in the live are being like, that was like really offensive. And she's like, that was really offensive. Well, I didn't mean to be offensive. So, and people are like, I just don't think you should have done this. Like, you should have kept your opinion to yourself. And she's like, I don't think you should have done this. Kept your opinion to yourself. Yeah, I mean, I just like don't know why you also couldn't keep your opinion to yourself. So like, let's backtrack. We make the original video in the comments for days, doubling, tripling down. make a not real apology video being like, sorry, you got your fucking feelings hurt. Sorry that, I said I didn't like this album. But specifically what she kept saying was, why can't I have an opinion? When she says, this is fundamentally not a good album. This is not good. This is lazy. This album is bad. This is not my favorite. It is. She's stating it all as fucking facts. Like, she's
also claiming to be a Beyonce fan.
Yeah. That part made me irate because I was like, we both know you're lying. Why even say that at this point? And then she goes on the live and she's doubling down on all that. And now she's deleted everything all about it and is still salty in comments and everything. And I screenshotted some that I would just like to share. Someone said, you just don't understand it, and that's okay. You can understand something and find it boring. Heart emoji. And then Blackbird is a dedication to Black women during the civil rights era. How do you call it boring? It's stunning. I'm familiar with the song. I think her cover could have been better.
But you know what Paul McCartney said?
About Sam Doll?
He came out and said, I am so happy with Beyonce's version of my song Blackbird. I think she does a magnificent version of it, and it reinforces the civil rights message that inspired me to write the song in the first place. I think Beyonce has done a fab version and would urge anyone who has not heard it yet, check it out. You are going to love it. I spoke to her on FaceTime, and she thanked me for writing it and letting her do it. I told her the pleasure was all mine, and I thought she had done a killer version of the song. When I saw the footage on the television in the early 60s of the Black girls being turned away from school, and I want to say he's specifically talking about the Little Rock 9, which is Central High School. And that, like, my grandmother lives on that block. Like, my dad went to Central High School after
I didn't know that.
Like, after it was desegregated, but like my dad went there.
Wow.
So like Central is a place that I've grown up knowing, like, on a personal level and going there, like, literally, like, my grandmother's house is on the same block.
Wow.
So when I saw the footage on the television in the early 60s of the Black girls being turned away from school, I found it shocking, and I can't believe that still in these days, there are places where this kind of thing is happening right now. Anything my song and Beyonce's fabulous version can do to ease racial. I don't know what the incident means, but yeah.
Something, yeah.
Like a word is missing. But he loves it. And you're a Beatles fan, so tell me more about that.
Being like a woman in your 30s and being like a Beatles fan, rock star girl, and getting on here and going, you know what I have some great takes on? Beyonce. And a Beyonce cover of the Beatles is so not where I thought this take would take me then. I go, you can't say that you're a Beyonce fan and you're a huge fan of the Beatles and therefore, Blackbird's boring. Whoa. You can't claim to be a fan of both of these things and remove every bit of context. And also, did you listen with your ears plugged and your eyes closed going la 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 la? Like, I'm so sorry. Maybe you thought it sounded bad because you weren't listening to it. You were just listening to the sounds of your own rancid thoughts in your own fucking head. So someone said there's a much deeper meaning to the entire album. I recommend reading more into why she covered these songs. The album as a whole from top to bottom is a creative masterpiece. It's not a mean comment whatsoever. I also feel like ... It can be meaningful and also just not that good. Like the cover of Blackbird is meaningful. It was just boring though. Like, you're right. You're trying to get riled up. And so someone else commented, so she herself has 326 monthly Spotify listeners. Oh, you're mad. And she like is liking those comments too to be like, I'm not even pissed.
Rumi Carter has more listens on.
Factually, legitimately. Someone else said, yeah, I think if you look into the nuances of what she did there and why it's more enjoyable. I see this comment a lot. And I think even if I looked into the nuances, I'd still find it boring to listen to, but that's just me.
So you're saying that you don't care about the nuances.
While in the other comments, you're saying you know the nuances, but you still find it boring.
Just a liar.
Oh my God. And she also comments from her main account. I agree, Queen. I'm not even mad.
With yourself?
Truly. That's what she does for that. And then talks about how there's too many writers on it, is like liking things. Someone said it wasn't for you. Beyonce's albums haven't been for y'all since Lemonade. And then she says, I love Lemonade.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like legitimately just so... And I just like, there was just something off. And then I kept scrolling. And then I found people that I was like, these people look like they're going to have the same takes as me. Looking at their comments and people saying, I already knew what kind of person she was with her takes on Meghan Markle. And that's all I needed to know. I didn't even need to look about her takes on Meghan Markle. You could have asked me, what does this girl think of Meghan Markle? And I'm like, not what I think. Nothing good. And that has been confirmed. So this is like I assume she's unsigned. I don't think any fucking record label would be like, yeah, rage bait against Beyonce and double down and stand in that with what you're saying, which is completely counteracts everything else you've made talking about music on this new TikTok account, which you've launched because you're relaunching your fucking music career. Like,
this is dumb. You should, if you are relaunching your music career, you get on here and you
cover every Beyonce song.
You glorify everything that Beyonce is doing. It's just a dumb move.
You talk about all your idols. If you don't even like her, you don't have to talk about her. Like, talk about your inspiration. Do all of the covers of all of your favorite songs that are going to be similar to what's on your album. Why the fuck would I be like, I got to listen to this girl's music?
For some reason, the algorithm showed me just her video.
Oh, that's
first
horrifying.
Before I saw anyone else's take on it. And when it started with BAIW keep scrolling, I thought it was going to be a little jokey video. I've seen people make little jokes then they ask just like silly questions about it.
Yeah, like the same one of being like, if I'm allergic to horses.
Yeah.
How do I find a horse?
Silly stuff. And then she kept going and I just went, hold down a block. I just blocked her. But I'm getting everybody's stitches now to it. Seen. And it's just infuriating. I'm like, I can do that. I actually can do it.
Not interested.
When I do not interested, I can say any stitches from this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I forgot that was a function. I had to talk it out, but like she's just not an intelligent person.
No, like this is a bad social move. This is a bad creator influencer move. This is a bad music move. This is a bad move for, well, I can probably tell you what your friend group looks like based on the fact that you were so comfortable posting this. But like the way that this crosses even your mind to then post tells me like everything about your life. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, it's just baffling to me. Like, absolutely fucking baffling. And the craziest part about all of this, you know, it's now being pushed. If I'm not fucking mistaken, wait, hold the fuck up. I actually might have completely called exactly what this was going to be. As this has happened now, I cannot stop fucking seeing a promoted ad that she did for at-home laser hair removal, and I was about to see if it was Kenzie, that one that they don't make you try it. But like, so since this has happened, I have to say that brand shady. They're pushing paid promotion of this because it's her, and like she's trending, and so they're like, click it, and like she's just getting the hate. They're not getting any of the heat or the hate of it. I just think that like you don't have to say any. You're allowed to like have an opinion. You're allowed to like not like something, but I do not think that you can have an opinion on something that is not for you.
Yeah.
So like I have this conversation with men all the time where like I will say something and like have a conversation with someone and like someone like a man will interject or say something and then I'll get upset and they're like, what? I was just sharing my opinion. I'm like, I didn't ask for your opinion though. Like you weren't in this conversation. You inserted yourself into this and then you're upset that I'm upset with X, Y, and Z, your reaction or whatever. Like this space isn't for you. And just because TikTok is here for you to share your thoughts and your feelings, filter what those thoughts and the feelings are inside voice. Talk about people behind their backs, whatever you fucking want to do. And there's been some great stitches. I saw one girl who was saying that she was like, she had a couple years ago when Get Out came out, she like watched it and she'd heard so much about it. And she was like, posted on her Instagram story being like, she's like, stupidly, I posted my Instagram story and I'm like, I didn't see what the hype is about. And she's like, and one of my best friends who's like a Black woman was like, take this down. Nope. And explained to her, like, this isn't for you. This is why. And the reason why this is so impactful. And what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of your Black friends talk about how impactful this is. You're seeing a lot of reviewers who are talking about this from that lens and that context. So it's not your lived experience, which is totally fine. But therefore, then it has to be your educated experience.
Yes. And I had a former friend that did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then once I explained the intricacies of the film, then they were like, oh, like I see it now.
Yeah. You can't have if you don't have the lived experience, you don't have it point blank. You have to have the educated experience, which you have to seek out. It doesn't just come to you. And so then she like learned all about this and she was like, I was mortified. And she's like, in everything I go into now, when it's like, this is not my lived experience. She's like, regardless of like the basis of what that is, I'm like, in order to enjoy this, how it's supposed to be enjoyed or to consume it, how it's supposed to be consumed, I have to do the educated experience. So like, that is the burden upon me. And am I so thankful I get to enjoy this amazing art and learn so fucking much. Like, this is awesome. And so she would like, and a lot of white creators were being like, hey, I did this. Let me help you out.
She didn't care.
She didn't give a shit.
The thing is, you can't argue with people that don't want to be educated on something, so people need to stop giving her the attention. Like when it's like directly to her.
Yeah,
you can
100%.
talk about it when it's not directly to her, but like if she's gonna keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on all of this, like you can't beat a dead horse. No pun intended, I guess.
This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold out. Like, here's the thing. Some things make me really patriotic. The Olympics, usually white British people. And I gotta say, this and that other fucking goddamn Canadian girl who is saying like Americans are like so uncultured because they don't speak many languages, or like they try and learn other languages, or they like don't they think English is like so whatever it was. It was just like a very bad take. Canadians, got my eye on some of ya. When you are going to critique something that is through the American lens, specifically the Black American lens, like you're a literal white girl from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
All right. Here's mine, which is a silly one, but it exists. And I can't believe what I'm about to say.
Oh, no.
Actually exists.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've heard of it.
I don't think I have, because the only ones that I was also debating are pretty dark, and I don't think this is
I had several, like I have bookmarked several other things that I could talk about, and I was like, last week was a little heavy.
Yeah, no, let's have a hee-hee-ha-ha.
Yeah. So I'm nominating Wet Pants Denim. From their website, they say, and this is a direct quote, Wet Pants Denim delivers the appearance of authentic urinary incontinence without the commonly experienced discomfort. Wet look, dry feel. This is a real company, like 100% real. Snopes did a little article on them to say it was real.
Poor Snopes.
I
They
know.
said this. I gotta fact check this.
Jimmy Kimmel has talked about it. They've got a lot of different people that were mocking them in content, but like they're saying, as seen in, these people are fully aware of what they're doing. Every pair is individually prepared by hand, ensuring the utmost attention to detail and enabling a fully custom design of the splash pattern. There's clearly a wet pants movement. Who?
This sounds like
it sounds like
fetish.
satire. I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Celebrities, influencer, and everyday individuals alike are fiending for incontinence
We're just lying.
in search of the wet pants look. Here at Wet Pants Denim, we're delivering an authentic style without the need to feel uncomfortable. Our jeans are individually procured for each order and hand-dyed, ensuring that every pair is one of a kind. We also make hats. You can get them in whatever color you want, but if you get the white ones, it does in fact... Oh, that was me. I'm sorry. I started adding a commentary.
I was about to say,
I wrote
they're
commentary
funnier
and
than
I was
thought.
reading it like it wasn't. So you can get the jeans and whatever, like you can get like blue jeans, distressed
God, if
jeans.
you tell me what I think you're
But
about
if
to
you
say.
get white
Shut
ones,
the fuck up. Don't say it.
it is yellow.
Yeah.
So you know
Bitch.
on jeans, it just looks wet. But white ones, it's specifically yellow.
Wait until they come with period stains.
And then they also
Skid
have
marks.
bring your own pants. And they say, we know our pricing isn't possible for everyone and that you may not need an entirely new pair of jeans. So in an effort to reach a wider customer base and do our part to reduce textile pollution, we're happy to provide our iconic aesthetic on a pair of jeans that you already own at a fraction of the cost.
You promised me this is not on April Fool's Day.
Promise
And you have a LinkedIn account, right?
Yeah.
Can you look up who work, like, just I want to just see the people who work there.
I don't want it on my LinkedIn account because they can then see that I looked at them.
Text me and remind me. I'll make mods do it.
Okay. Oh, I do have a fake LinkedIn. I'll look
Yeah,
in
do
a
it later.
second.
I just need to know.
They accept PayPal, and under no circumstances do we accept returns.
Yeah, because they know they're making fetish shit.
Pants will be mailed back to the owner following receipt of payment. Also, like if you're international, you can't order them. They'll just cancel your order. And they also say there are two key issues with the traditional urinary incontinence and aesthetic. Wearing wet pants is uncomfortable.
And yeast infections.
When the wet mark dries or the garment is washed, the stain is almost gone for good.
Melissa.
And then we get to, they have their own
No.
Stop reading, Megan.
I'm
Stop
so sorry.
jumping
It's
ahead.
huge.
I know it's huge because I copied directly from the site. So they have their own digital currency called Pisscoin, one word.
Melissa, I'm suddenly becoming a fan of them.
Wet look, dry transactions.
These are some girly pops who are like, I'm gonna make some money off of some nasty man.
Pisscoin by Wet Pants Denim, the world's first cryptocurrency developed for the sole purpose of facilitating the purchase of jeans designed to simulate the look of authentic urinary incontinence, is a revolutionary breakthrough in digital retail currency. Pisscoin value is fixed to the price of our blue jeans and can be purchased via inquiry below.
I wonder if this was started, and I would respect it, by that one Twitch streamer who sold her farts in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
This to me is a business venture. I started off disgusted. I've ended this. How do we get in on something like this?
I don't want in, Megan. This will have to be a solo venture.
No, but like I don't want to do this specifically,
but
like
our own type of thing.
Yeah, like how do we cater specifically to like how do we get money from men by exploiting these men? Because here's the thing. I don't think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I, much like Sam Doll, I will actually not be researching about this because I don't want
Your search engine.
Yeah, I don't want my fucking search engine knowing this about me. But like, to me, as someone who's been a victim of a digital flasher, and just specifically if we're talking on like that kind of age of it, but that is the idea of the fetish of this is like, I don't think the common fetish is enjoying the look that you or the feeling that you've pissed yourself. Usually what it is getting off on other people's reactions to it. So like
you put it on and then you walk around with these
other
pants
people's uncomfortability or whatever. And like, this is one of those things that like, I'm not going to say all of it, but I would, when your fetish is predicated or reliant on other people's reaction being discomfort or disgust, that is a power move. Like that's not like, this is not just like a fetish or like this isn't like a personal kink anymore. Like that's, I think at that point, like sexual harassment. Like I just think that like I didn't consent to participate in this. It is like, as much as like it might feel like it's harmless if you're just being disgusted, like it's not harmless because you know that someone is being sexually turned on or gratified by this. And like, you didn't consent to be a part of that. So like, I just think that that's the vast majority. I think it would be much rarer for your individual kink to be the feeling that because it's the look, it's not the feeling that you've pissed yourself. And you're not looking at it. So unless you're just wearing these and standing in front of a mirror, you're subjecting the rest of us to this.
I can't find, they don't have a page on LinkedIn. Their Instagram page, the only person that they're following is Dimna, the designer from Balenciaga.
Are we sure this is not a bit?
There's pages about it written up.
But they're in on a bit. That's what I mean. They're like, do you think they're in on the joke, or do you think that they are like, we have the same interest that we're participating in, or do you think that they're being like, we can make money off people who are doing this shit?
It might be the second part, but like they have write-ups in CNET.
What's it called again?
Wet Pants Denim.
The founder of Wet Pants Denim is a 20-something-year-old Manhattanite who won't share his name or company sales figures, assures me the company's products are 100% real, and a reporter from Mel magazine confirms this after ordering a pair to see for herself. Which little Roy child from Succession decided to do this with daddy's money? Like, this is giving very much Kieran Culkin's character.
Yeah.
Like, I've just had a conversation with Moz about this, about like there's specific companies where you read their bio or you read what they do or like the company culture and you go, this company was invented by a boy with a trust fund who saw his dad come home from work every day in a suit and tie. And he was like, Dad, let's hang out and play. And he goes, no, son, business is serious. He said, why can't business be fun? And he got a multi-million-dollar trust fund and they decided to make a fun company. And we've got iced tea coming out of our water fountains, and no, not iced tea. Kombucha coming out of our water fountains. And we also make like we have crying rooms and you can run in a giant hamster wheel and it's so fun. And we have sleepovers all the time and we do trust falls and you have to name your first child after me and you get no health care or insurance, but like we bring you a cake on your birthday of my favorite flavor. Like it's very much that energy. And to me, this also gives me the same vibe as someone who is like, you know what they want to do? They're pissing away their inheritance. Quite literally.
I think that's the phrase that we should end this episode on. Well,
Thank
you
you.
all for
No,
listening.
Melissa, thank you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, because this
You're
is my
welcome.
new Roman Empire, and I'm about to go home to Mott's, who is obsessed with finding internet rabbit holes where he can just shit on fucking idiots and people. And
Well,
this is,
today he'll be pissing on
he'll
people.
be pissing on he's gonna be so stoked about this.
Oh, before we close out, I'm gonna read some comments from our Spotify page. So on the episode entitled "My Hookup Said I Love You," there was a "But are you wrong?" about some Starbucks employees getting fired because their store was getting robbed, and so they beat up the robbers. And someone said, "I worked at Starbucks a few months ago, and they literally say in this training, if all else fails, fight. I fucking hate them." So,
I wonder what location.
I know.
Yeah, because I do think, I mean, it so depends on your location, and also they were also just, the issue was is that they were like, oh, you actually can fight.
Mhm.
Bitch, what the fuck? I'm not gonna die for you and your burnt coffee.
In the episode "Ghosting Your Therapist," I think this was when you were talking about your love of Ireland and you kept doing your accent.
Oh,
Because somebody wrote in and said, "Love this episode. I'm a longtime Irish listener," with heart eyes and a actual heart.
my family, my people, my kin. Love ya.
All right. And if you leave us a comment on Spotify or on Apple Podcast app, we'll read it out loud.
Unless it's mean. But if it's funny.
If it's mean, we'll never know it existed because we get to choose what we add
Oh.
on Spotify.
Spotify's for the people.
Yes.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed Go Piss Girl. And I just want everyone to remember.
Do you remember the Go Girl piss thing? A little thing that, like, if you're like a hiker, it's this little like cup type thing that you could stand, and if you're a girl, you could put it around your pee hole and then pee like a man.
Well, someone is not a fan, because when I had to do the cross California all the way to Colorado trip, I brought one because I couldn't go into rest stops during COVID.
Oh yeah, I
And
do remember that. What do you mean not a fan? We
No, I
fucking
know.
talked about
I know.
this.
Unfortunately,
and I might have brought it up to you.
terrifyingly, Melissa, I don't know where it went.
Yikes.
It is lost somewhere. Didn't have it on the way home, and I go, I don't know if it's at the mountain house. I don't know if we lost it on a rest stop. I don't know if it was in a plastic bag that got tossed out. But there's also, we tried it on Beauty Break, which I fully had forgotten about, and at that time it was called the Shiwi. Here's the thing, binary. Like, I'm not here to subscribe to binaries. If it's a funny pun on words like language like that, I go, okay. As long as your little subtitle is not inclusive, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
a Shiwi.
Yeah.
Not all she's a we's, not all we's she. I think weeing is a universal thing. We all wee.
Yeah, we all wee.
Take a wee. Take a piss. Take a whiz. Anyways, we need to fucking stop talking about peeing. Go piss, girl.
So if you'd like to participate, you could send us a email at butamiwrongpod@gmail.com or slide into our DMs. Keep them 300 words or less. Make sure you include your age and make it anonymous and any other relative information.
And you can also slide into our DMs or tag us in something that you would like us to talk about. That's always helpful. And stay tuned tomorrow to hear the results from last week's episode.
All right. And we will circle back.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
Bye. But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Bitches on Comics is a bi-monthly interview podcast where we talk to the coolest LGBTQ plus folks and women in comics and pop culture.
Our unique perspectives and welcoming nature have earned us the honor of being named a Best Comic Book Podcast by Book Riot, Screen Rant, The Mary Sue, Comic Book Herald, and Comic Book Couples Counseling.
Bitches on Comics is hosted by moi, Monica Estrella Negra, filmmaker, writer, and co-founder of Audrey's Revenge Film.
And me, S.E. Fleenor, comic and pop culture nerd and culture critic with writing in The Independent, Vice, Electric Literature, Star Trek, and so much more.
We're also both voting members of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ plus Entertainment Critics.
Join Bitches on Comics for in-depth, hilarious, and heartfelt conversations with the likes of Stephanie Williams, Leah Anderson, and the late, great Rachel Pollack.
Listen to Bitches on Comics on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or tune in at bitchesoncomics.com. New episodes every other Wednesday.